Well, Barber Osgerby, I'm Edward Barber, and I've been working with Jay Osgerby for 30 years now. And so we came straight from college and started working together. And we always set out to try to work with the very, very best companies in the world in whichever sector that we choose. AXOR, in our opinion, was by far the best company working in the bathroom area. So we always wanted to work for them. And you know, when you're starting out, you don't have the opportunity to work with amazing manufacturers straight away. So instead of working for lesser companies, we just waited until we had the opportunity. And so I guess about 10 years ago, we had started having conversations with AXOR about, and they said, yeah, we like your work, let's maybe think of a project. And the first thing we did was AXOR One, which was not the taps, it was just the first part, which was the control system. And that was a very innovative project where we used new technology and we sort of consolidated a lot of the different controls that you find in a high-end bathroom into one control. And that was the very starting point for AXOR One, the full collection. And now we have over 30 pieces in the collection with showers and taps and overhead and handheld showers and the whole systems now. Well, everyone likes to reflect their own personality, I think, in their home. And over the last, certainly in Europe, 20, 30 years, people have become much more comfortable in sort of decorating their own homes. So people take an actual pride in doing that. And before, probably they weren't so interested. And the bathroom is a particular area where people really like to kind of show a bit of expression. Partly because it's something that you don't change very often in the bathroom. I mean, in a bedroom you can change the paint color, you know, every month if you want to. It's not so expensive and not too difficult. But if you've tiled your bathroom and you've selected all the bathroom fittings, you know, it's an expensive investment and it's not something you change very often. So I think people think about it very carefully what they do. And so with AXOR and with AXOR One, you have a very wide range of finishes that you can use. I think there are about 15 different finishes with AXOR, and then we've added another 6 colors on top of that, which is not something that AXOR conventionally do. But that gives another layer of options for people. And I think it's certainly proved to be very successful, certainly in the press anyway. People aren't as brave. They always love colour, and then when it comes to actually choosing something, whether it's a piece of furniture or a tap, you know, they're not always as brave as they think. And so quite often the colour isn't, they don't always choose the strong colours. We don't really have well, I hope to think we don't have a style, but I would say the signature that you'll find in AXOR One is innovation. I mean, innovation is something that we always strive for in every project. It's something that's essential to our design philosophy. And with AXOR One, we've actually managed to invent a whole new archetype. So you have new technology, which is a select on and off, which was invented by us and AXOR. But we've used it people are a little bit nervous of new things quite often. So if you can package new technology with a familiar architecture, which we have. So we have the very, very familiar curved pipe for the tap. So people don't feel alienated by the technology. They see something that they feel is a little bit familiar, but then this new technology is offering them a lot more. It's offering them simplicity, it's water conservation, and something different in the bathroom that other competitors don't have. Well, I mean, when you talk about compact luxury, obviously the one thing you don't have is space. And typically when people think about luxury, they think about generous proportions, you know, big windows or big floor areas and large walls and big mirrors. And compact obviously is the opposite. So you have to focus on the detail, you have to focus on the finishes. And what we were trying to do with that concept was to simplify the material. So you'd have the same material on the floor and the walls, only have a glass screen for the shower so that it didn't interrupt. You don't have frames and doors and so on. And then we chose just one color, which was the white in this particular case, for all the fittings. So everything is reduced into its simplest form. I mean, yeah, if you use a lot of mirror, it's quite good, because actually it does trick you into feeling that you're in a larger space than you really are. So it's actually a trick that designers use quite often, and it works very well. So AXOR One, in its conception, we were obviously considering its environmental impact. We were looking at how we could conserve water, how we could reduce the volume of water that was being used. And one of the features about this Select technology that we've used is that it's pretty much impossible to leave a shower or a tap running, because unless you leave it on full, which is unlikely, it doesn't drip. So a conventional tap or shower, you can turn it on and off, and it's a gradual motion from on to off. And so if you don't shut it off properly, you can end up, the tap could be dripping all day. Now, if you put that into the context of a large hotel, 500-room hotel, let's say even 20% or 10% of the showers are dripping all day, you know, by the end of the year, that's a huge, huge amount of wasted water. So with AXOR One, that doesn't happen. So it's very, very good in terms of saving water. In the shower heads, we've used what's a technology called powder rain. And in powder rain, you have very, very small holes. So with the same water pressure, you can perceive that you're having a very powerful shower, but you're actually using a lot less water. So those two aspects together deliver a feeling of luxury when actually you are reducing the amount of water being used and reducing the amount of water wastage. Well, we have an architecture practice as well. We do a lot of hospitality, we do hotels, residential, restaurants and so on. So we have a lot of internal expertise, and therefore a lot of internal feedback that we get from our architects and interior designers. It's very valuable. Any feedback from our products that are already in the market, or any feedback that we have about the way that people are using their bathrooms, whether it's residential or in hospitality, it's all useful feedback. Certain things, you know, for AXOR One, it's relatively new to the market. We launched it 2 years ago, but even now it's only just reaching some of the markets. So we haven't had so much feedback about it, but hopefully, you know, it's all good. But if it isn't, you know, there are maybe things that we can do to improve it or to modify it, or maybe to add to the collection as well. Well, we're quite new to the bathroom space, honestly. I mean, AXOR One, the control panel, which we launched in 2015, that was the first thing we'd ever done for the bathroom. And the extension to the range is the only other thing that we've done. So we're quite new to that area, but I think it's revolutionized the way that you can control water in the bathroom. I think it's really simplified it for the user. It's made it very easy to use in the sense of, you know, the control. You can just touch it like this with your arm or your hand, or like this very precise control of the water, but it's not so precise in the way that you can use it. I think I have it at home, it's fantastic. You preset everything, the temperature, the flow, and every morning you just click it on and you know you're gonna have the same shower that you had the day before. Whereas some showers, you have to adjust until you get it right every single morning. And that's just really frustrating. So I think AXOR One delivers something really quite special. Well, AXOR has a range of standard finishes for all of its collection, and I think there's something like 12 or 14 different finishes. So already you're offering a lot of options for the client. And when you look at AXOR One in a matte black finish, and then you look at AXOR One in a polished gold, it looks like a completely different product. On top of that, we decided for AXOR One to add color as well. So we have a range of colors from reds and blues and greens, and that both looks fantastic, but it also inspires the end user to think about the product in a slightly different way, and it certainly creates a lot more press around the product as well, which is always what happens with strong color. You know, it draws people in and they really notice the product, and whether they actually buy it in those colors, we've yet to see. I mean, we've definitely sold some. There's been a lot of inquiries, but AXOR One is visually a very simple product, intentionally, and I think you can play so much with all these different finishes to get something that's absolutely right for you. Well, I've only ever collaborated with Osgerby my whole career, so hopefully that will continue. We have projects on the books at the moment with AXOR. We have a number of different projects, in fact, that we've been designing for a year or so now. So, in different areas of the house, actually. So, within the next 2 years, you should be seeing more things coming from us, and hopefully they'll be as interesting and game-changing as AXOR One.